Welcome to my channel, Post the Twitter. We meet once again when I am posting another very important aspect of the language. If you have been following me from this time I started and you haven't subscribed, I kindly ask you to subscribe, not because I'm after numbers, but you might lose something that is very, very vital because you don't get the alert to be able to see it. If you are visiting for the first time, I urge you to go backwards, check on the other videos that I have sent, and you definitely see that you won't go away without picking one or two essential aspects of the language. Today's area is very, very important, very, very important, like all the other aspects that we always look at, the different aspects that we have looked at before. Discourse markers. The word discourse in general terms means to speak or write authoritatively on a topic or subject. So if you are able to discuss, it means you speak with authority, you write with authority, you are quite competent in what you are doing. As we see, you will realize that what we're looking at is not anything new. It's something that you have used over and over again, but maybe you never realized that you are actually using discourse markers. What are they? That's the first aspect that we're going to look at. Discourse markers can be single words, they can be phrases, but they are used to signal about three aspects in the language or in your writing. Aspect number one is that they are used in a conversation to introduce a topic or to end a conversation. That's aspect number one. Aspect number two, we use discourse markers to express our feeling about what has been said, e.g., surprise. The third aspect on discourse markers is that they are used to give, they are used actually, wherever they are used, they give a different signal depending on intonation. I would want to explain a bit the word intonation. Intonation is the rise and fall of your voice as you speak. This is not just a random rise and fall of your voice, but it is a systematic and purposeful rise and fall of your voice to send a message. There are certain areas where we have to raise our voices, and there are certain areas where we have got to lower it. And that is meant not to create monotony or to miscommunicate. The moment you do it the right way, the message is sent home without any problems. It's basically like in music. Intonation in English language is equated to music. It is actually called the music of speech, because in music you can't sing with the same voice from start to finish. As you start, your voice is up, and where it's needed to be raised and lowered, you've got to lower it. And as you round off your music, you can't round off your music with a high pitched voice. something tells your audience, something tells your uh, listeners that you are rounding off your music, you're coming to the end. So intonation as well becomes the music of speech, because you've got to raise and lower your voice when and where it's necessary. Right. Um, Two, where they are placed in the conversation. So it depends on where the discourse marker has been placed in the conversation. Right. What I've done here is I've just picked a few situations and the discourse markers which are relevant to those situations. If you search around, Google around, you will definitely find that discourse markers are so many. You can't exhaust them. And as you search, you will realize that, like I said earlier in this video, that you have used discourse markers at some stage. You might not have realized that you were using a discourse marker or discourse markers. Right. I've given the meaning and the markers that are used. Right. The first group of discourse markers are those adding, surprising information or arguments. Right? The phrase or the discourse marker is as a matter of fact. Right? You are adding a surprising additional information or an argument or in fact, right? You're adding to your argument, right? Number discuss meaning number two, changing the subject. It means you're the subject or you're the line that you were following in an argument, right? You are changing that course. By the way, one, incidentally, two, those are used when you're changing the subject. And if you check around, you'll actually see where they are used. And that's part of what we always talk about, enriching. This is just cultivating, you know, encouraging. And as you read deeper, you actually find the usage of these different words and you enrich your language. Number three, balancing contrasting ideas. These are at different ends of the divide. You're balancing, you're bringing them together in some way. By the way, sorry, whereas on the other hand, you are breaching the gap. The fourth one, making something clear or give more details. I mean, that means you're adding, maybe the person you're talking to had not got what you were trying to put across. You are adding on to what you have already given so that the information has substance. What you have given that person, you are adding onto it. Thank you, viewers. This is just a tip of the iceberg. There are so many discourse markers. Search around. You will definitely find more. I have only prompted you to get deeper into it. Check on discourse markers and you'll see how much you are missing out. There are so many. And discourse markers are a clear sign as you use them. And if you use them correctly, they are a clear sign that you have mastered the language. You are somebody who is competent in the language. So check around, and each time you use a discourse marker, ensure that you're placing it correctly, and you will realize that it will elevate your position, be it in an interview, be it in a discussion. That shows you have mastered the language. Thank you so much. I hope we meet in the next posting. Keep me backed up. Thank you.